Hello everybody. Today I'm having a look at a knife designed by the Danish custom knife maker Jens Anso. This is the Böker Cox. Now Anso is a designer who in just a few years has gotten the interest from, well, not only the audience, the general audience at large, but also from several manufacturers. In one of his first, of probably his first production collaboration was here the Spyderco Rock Lobster. I discussed that previously. A very unique looking folder with a practical kind of sheepfoot blade. And I must say, unfortunately for me, I was never 100% convinced by the ergonomy of the handle. But, you know, quite a statement when it comes to design. And Spyderco, by the way, now has also a second Anso design. It's called the Zulu. Pretty interesting design. And otherwise, Böker has been very much involved with Mr. Anso. In fact, I should have put the camera a bit higher. So a full series of knives. The first one was the haddock. And you see they often have this kind of pretty strange blade form that's somewhat sheepfoot-like, but not completely, and a bit goofy looking. Not really tactical, I would say, but not classic either. So here the two haddocks, now also with the dark blade, were frame lock folders, and the one that I discuss is a small slip joint, meaning it will be legal in many countries. And in fact, these three, including the one that I discuss, is a two-hand opening knife, can also have a positive legal impact depending on where you live. Here is another one, the Anso 67, that I'm not certain is already on the market. I've not yet seen it. It should anyway come pretty soon on the market if it isn't now. And one more is, I have to take the camera again. You see, luxury edition with a beautiful Damascus blade. Yeah, well, that is, if you really want to pay the money for that, Böker always makes very nice Damascus versions. So let's go back to the object at hand. In one word, I think this is a cool knife. It's a perfect individualistic EDC, I must say, because, I mean, who has a knife like that? I mean, the form is totally different from what you're used to. And you see, it's not really a point for stabbing, but it is fine enough how it comes together for a precise cut. Huh? So that it's very practical still. And also it looks already worn a bit. You see the blade is extremely stone washed, you could say. And here the titanium handle at that side also looks used. It looks a bit like the handle of my Sebenza that I often carry, and that also, you know, you see, but here it came out of the box already, had that matte kind of used look and very industrial kind of look. Also the way here how the G10 is carved, and by the way the haddock and the Spyderco Zulus are roughly similar in that respect. It's very rough chunks have been taken out. In total it gives a primitive kind of impression, a bit outside the norm, but also very sympathetic and cool. I think it's an individualistic knife. It's probably not for everybody. I would say it's the EDC knife for people who drive Saabs or Volvos, you know, something a bit outside the ordinary. So what else? Yes, it is a hollow ground profile, but you see it's done with very big wheels. At the top it's a 4mm thick, the blade. That's quite a bit. Well, that's what they said. 4mm. Let's check this, huh? Because suddenly it looks more like 3. Yeah, it could be 4. It's all probably be 4. A very stiff slip joint with a stop in the middle, and it's really not a knife to open with one hand. So the nail nick is useful. Perhaps if you can loosen this, but then the adjustment with the slip joint. I'm not certain if you then can really nicely do it open with one hand. But okay, you know, for me, I still feel pretty balanced if I have to open a knife with two hands. I mean, I don't make such a fuss about that. And it adds to this, its wayward character. So, yes, so with this hollow ground blade, with very big wheels, what you could have is that, but I've not yet been able to do that, if you would need to cut sturdy cardboard boxes, this kind of hollow grind, you might get stuck in the cardboard. Something you don't have with the flatter kind of grind. But okay, for general EDC it works very well. It is pretty thin up to just below the nail nick. It's pretty thin there, and for general smaller cutting tasks it works really, really well with a lot of character, I must say. Of course, being a German-made Böker, it suffers a bit on the American market for the price, which, yes, it's made by European people, and then the dollar is at this moment pretty weak against the euro, so it is relatively expensive in America. However, if you're in Europe, I think this is a really interesting character for EDC. Notice here the Anso logo. It's like a beer claw, but with knives. Think a bit about Freddy Krueger's hand. Yes, and you see the clip, it's only at this side. You can, it's by default tip down, you can put it here, and nicely they already put some screws there. I like that actually, so there's no dirt coming in there and so on. What about the hand holding? Well, if you hold it like this, just beyond, it's not really a guard, but okay, just beyond it, then if for a medium-sized hand, your little finger is just around the edge, and that's okay for most users. Or you can keep it a bit closer, and then your whole hand comfortably holds the handle with your first finger. Then you have to watch out that you don't touch here the end of the cutting edge. So then you keep it like this. But that's for when you have to put more force to it. But for the typical EDC kind of use, and I think it has something gentlemanly, but in a very different from the norm way. So for that kind of typical use, it shouldn't be an issue. You see, I open and close it again, nicely centered. Yeah, Böker did a really good job with this. So you can see that the spring is some kind of stainless steel. I don't know which. But then you can see that the metal, the titanium is more gray. Yeah. It's 94 grams heavy, and yeah, it's not exactly light for its size, it's simply because of the titanium and the steel there. The blade is 6.7 centimeters, so that is 2.8 inches or something like that, roughly. Which makes, if you see this, all these factors together in an ever more severe climate and laws that prohibit knife carrying for sometimes good reasons, but sometimes if you're a decent person it's frustrating. Well, in many places, and I think for example in the UK, well, I wouldn't carry it in the heart of London to go to a party, but if you walk around in nature in the UK, you can have maximum 3-inch non-locking blades, and this one is easily fits with that. And you see, in the one-hand opening part makes it also helpful the legalese, you could say, in many countries. In my country it doesn't matter, because in my country you always need a good reason to carry a knife. So that doesn't really help, but for many people it will help. Here, this is what I see is the most interesting competitor. I could have taken the UKPK, which is with the leaf blade, but that's a bit bigger. The well-known Spyderco UKPK, or a Valneven slip joint. Well, I don't have the slip joint version. But when it comes to wayward attraction, I think it's something that's a bit outside the norm. I think that this lovely urban Warncliffe fits the bill pretty well. I mean, this is also a knife that's a bit outside what you expect, and that's also a practical, no-nonsense blade. And it has a thinner blade. So this one, the Urban is a bit cheaper. But then again, I think also that the Böker is more exclusive. It's a really special design, like there's nothing else on the planet. You can see the Urban is indeed thinner and lighter. It's a modern, clever design. I like the look of the Urban. It's sympathetic with this orange scale. It won't scare people. But I still think, I think personally that the Böker is worth the price difference when it comes to looks. In performance, yes, I forgot to say that the steel of the Böker is that a Böhler N690, which is a pretty good steel. It's somewhere between 440C and VG10, while the Spyder was VG10. Well, sometimes they say that this is similar to VG10. So, in essence, you could say that both are quite similar in blade quality. But I would still say that the Böker is more sturdy as a knife, because look here, the lightness of the Urban is also because it doesn't have liners. It's just the G10 slabs, while you have here, at least at one side, a piece of titanium. So, well, okay, something for everybody, but I don't have another comparison that makes as much sense when it comes to modern slip joints that have character than the Urban. So, well, in short, I think this is an interesting knife. It's full of character, like nothing else on the market. In fact, when I found it, I had seen it already in books and on the internet, but I was drooling in a shop over relatively recent M-Custa pocket knives. Lovely finish, you know how they are, Japanese perfection, very clean, very beautiful. And then I saw that, and I thought, well, this is so cool. I mean, I prefer this also over those very nice M-Custas because of its primitive aspect, almost medieval, you could say. And it's still not threatening. In my opinion, it's not threatening. It's purely a utility blade. Good. Well, let me know what you think of the Böker Cox. Thank you and goodbye.